Welcome back to our Architecture and Heritage series, where we dive into buildings that shape culture. Today's headline: Fire ravaged the Glasgow School of Art. It may cost too much to restore it, brings a sobering story to our ears. A masterpiece by Charles Rennie Mackintosh, the Scottish architect whose work changed early 20th century design, has fallen into the hands of an expensive nightmare. In 2014, a poorly controlled art project sparked a blaze that took a good portion of the building, but insurance paid for an extensive rebuild. That reconstruction was almost finished when, in 2018, another fire, this time a more devastating second wave, burnt through the structure again. And while the school had once celebrated a restoration, a second one threatens to push the financial envelope beyond its limits. Charities and public institutions often rely on the goodwill of government and donors, but the numbers here speak uninstallably. The school's own estimates average around £265 million, roughly $355 million, to faithfully rebuild the site in line with Mackintosh's original plans. In their statement, the founders said that cost was an amount that is not affordable and which would compromise the financial sustainability of the organization. That's precisely why no public money has yet been signaled from the Scottish Government, and the British Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government has been asked to step forward. The school told the media that the scaffolding that had held the structure together since the blaze would be removed and replaced with an internal support system, but that step alone does not bring the building back to its intended function. The plan is to keep the building standing, to protect the facade and interior, and then plug in an external funding pipeline that would get the restoration moving forward. The story also hits at cultural significance. Mackintosh's campus, opened in 1909, has become an icon of Art Nouveau, its modernist library lighting a nod to factory brilliance and its carved stone bearing Italian pastoral motifs. Every year the building pulls in tens of thousands of visitors, many of them art students, but also tourists drawn by Mackintosh's winning design. The school can also claim its alumni list as a small but high redicate: Turner Prize winners, musicians from the Scottish rock bands Franz Ferdinand and Travis, and even the designer himself, later married the artist Margaret MacDonald. The school's director, Penny Macbeth, said in interviews in the lead-up to the second fire that the building was committed to the faithful restoration, but the cost estimate now casts a shadow over that pledge. This isn't just an architecture debate, it's a political one. Mary McAllen, the Scottish Minister for Education and Culture, said the government's clear preference was a faithful rebuild, and added that her office would work closely with them and other partners to help secure a prosperous future for this iconic building. Her response rings true to the new Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, who pledged to bring growth to every corner of the country, but said little in terms of money to help with the rebuild. The UK's economy remains sluggish, and Burnham's government has little extra to spare. That is why the cost estimate creates a critical financing gap, one where donors and public funding could step into an enormous project, but it remains unclear how practical such a plan would be for either side. In sum, the Glasgow School of Art has burned twice and is now burning with financial uncertainty. It remains a landmarker not only for Scottish heritage but for the entire conversation about how we protect historic artwork under the strain of climate, vandalism, accident, or accidental fire. It's a tragedy for builders, patrons, and architects alike, and a reminder that no value, no matter how high, can be measured in terms of its preservation alone. As we close today, we reflect on the fragile nature of historic structures and the collective responsibility we have to maintain them, even in the face of large sums that challenge the limits of public and private budgets. Thank you for listening, and we'll keep you updated as the story unfolds. Stay curious.